your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
Stay healthy and happy, even in winter. Unveiled Local has tips to keep you moving and feeling great. You know the saying, laughter is good for the soul? But have you heard of laughter yoga? Details in this month's Healthy Living section of Unveiled Local. Embrace the beauty of winter and refresh your mind when you get outdoors. We have tips on winter-proofing your workout by helping you dress for outdoor exercise. Make 2025 your healthiest year yet with helpful tips found at unveiledlocal.com.
Wherever you're going, we're going to the Otter Express.
The Otter Express is offering free rides Monday, February 24th through Friday, February 28th in Pelican Rapids, Barnesville, and Battle Lake. Please see OtterExpress.com and Otter Express on Facebook for further details on free rides for Pelican Rapids, Barnesville, and Battle Lake.
Wherever you're going, we're going to the Otter Express.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Tuesday morning. It is 10 after 9. Hoping everybody's having a great and slightly smoky start to your day.
It is smoky. What's the deal?
They did some burning out at the landfill.
Oh, I was going to say, as I drove away from my house, I wanted to turn around and make sure I didn't see smoke coming out someplace. It's really smoky.
It is, and I was like, wow, it's a little too early for this, Canada. But
Yeah, so it's not Canada. Thank heaven.
Can't blame Canada on this one.
Okay, well, all right. So smoky start, foggy start, slippery start.
Very, very icy out.
It is very slippery out there, just walking. In fact, there was a story in the news this morning about Senator Kevin Cramer out of North Dakota fell at his Bismarck house on the ice and ended up with a severe concussion, ended up in the emergency room. He's got a severe concussion and a brain bleed.
Oh, wow.
They think he's going to be just fine, but they're telling him to just rest at home for a few days before he even considers going back to D.C. So you see it can happen very easily, just a slip on the ice and you fall, and boy, you can really, really hurt things. That's for sure.
I know in front of our house we've used a ton of salt over the last couple of days, and it seems like every morning it's still icy. So
well, even just getting out of the car in our parking lot here, I did the little scoot across the parking lot, with the kind where you don't pick up your feet.
Yeah, you just kind of shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. Well, boy, makes me really want to get on a Delta flight. I've got 2 Delta flights coming up. And I feel sorry for Delta because I think these things are happening. And I feel like it's sort of, all of these things could happen, a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there over a decade.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're all happening
right
within
now.
a few weeks. And Delta had to evacuate another flight via the emergency slides.
Oh, they got to ride down.
Yeah, due to smoke and haze inside the aircraft. I think they left from Atlanta and they were bound for South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. They just made a loop and put it right back on the ground in Atlanta. Nobody was hurt.
Atlanta to South Carolina, that's got to be a very short flight.
Very short flight. I think that's where it was going. On its way to Columbia. So returned to Atlanta where it safely landed, and turns out it was nothing to be worried about, but it's happened now on 2 different flights just in past days, and they both happen to be Delta flights. So I feel sorry for Delta because they're taking a lot of heat for this. It just feels like maybe even the smaller things are being called out now like they weren't before. If it wasn't a major calamity, some of those things I think just sort of went unnoticed or unreported maybe on the national scale. And now anytime anything happens on an aircraft, we're all going to know about it. So maybe that's what's going on, because it was nothing serious in either case. So
Yeah, my oldest
Um,
was actually flying. I flew out to Fort Myers yesterday, so hoping that everything went well.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you flew out yesterday and you didn't hear anything, I think things are probably okay. Taking a look at what's happening, I have a friend who is in Siesta Key, and she texted me because we stay at places that are very close to each other, and she said, nice day here." And
Oh,
I looked at the forecast, and even which is about 90 minutes north of Fort Myers, it's going to be in the high 70s to about 80 degrees, so perfect weather. So I'm sure Fort Myers is looking pretty good for your son.
yeah, he's got a friend whose parents have a place down there, and so
Okay, well,
they all got up and went down to Florida for a week.
sounds like a great deal, and I think he's gonna enjoy some nice weather.
Yes.
So, of course, we're having some pretty darn nice weather around here too, but it's not 80,
No,
and you can't play golf,
no,
and you can't jump in the pool.
but you can enjoy the fact that it's not
You can
30
get
below.
outside, oh, for sure, and doesn't it make a difference on people's outlook?
The
I mean,
psyche, yeah,
oh my
how
gosh,
they're feeling, yeah.
yeah, for sure. So, I hate to be the "mer, mer" guy, but,
Debbie Downer.
what happened? I mean, how long till we get see, this is what's hard about Minnesota. You get this reprieve after this terrible cold, and then you think, "Ah, it's over." And sometimes it's not.
It's never over. Middle of August, you're worried about a
So
blizzard.
I know, you just never know what to expect. But I guess we shouldn't even think ahead, just enjoy today, right?
Yep.
I have learned to be, I think, be grateful for some things, even when things are not kind of going so great. You just take some things out of every situation, even the ones that aren't going great, and you try to pick out some things that you can be grateful for. Y-
Okay,
uh,
good way
you
to look at
know,
it.
and sometimes it's not very easy to uncover some of those things, um, but I think if you can look at it like that, even when for example, maybe there is, in my case, my mom has had to make several moves, and because of that, it's discouraging. But at the same time, hey, I've got lots of things to be grateful for. She knows me every day when I come to visit. I think she still tunes in every day. So hi to mom if she's listening this
Hi.
morning. Yeah, and she's her cheery self, and so some things to be grateful for even if some things have, sort of declined. But so I think I'm being really, what do you call it? I have to work hard at it, but you have to find some good stuff every now and then, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. All right, let's see what else we have for you. Pope Francis, who is 88, pardon me, is showing some slight improvement, but remains in critical condition. You know what? And I know that the Catholic religion, as opposed to Lutherans or any other religion or
Denomination.
denomination, I'm taken back by all the people. I mean, thousands of people gathering at the Vatican
Oh, of course.
and at so many places around the world praying for the Pope. And I guess there isn't like, one guy in charge of the whole Lutheran business.
No.
So, so we don't do that. But
Well,
isn't that interesting how different that is?
well, it's kind of how Protestantism kind of
Yeah, I
started, was
guess.
to get away from the Pope
I
and
I
get away
I
from the
guess.
Catholic
But
Church.
isn't it interesting though?
Yeah.
And especially today when so many people are walking away from anything that has to do with religion or church
Mhm.
altogether. But then you see the thousands and thousands of people who are gathered to pray for one man. I don't know whether you're Catholic or not. I think that speaks to the power of prayer. And
Yes.
yeah, anyway, I thought that was interesting. Doctors are cautious, they're saying, about his prognosis. He remains hospitalized in Rome. They say he's eating normally, continuing medical therapies. The Vatican thanks the followers for all their prayers, and he seems to be doing relatively well for
Yeah.
what he's gone through. Okay, we all know that the price of eggs have gone up dramatically. You and I just bought eggs, and they were 8 something
Yeah.
for a
Spending.
dozen.
Yep.
I think I paid $8.97 for a dozen eggs. Anyway, I talked to somebody yesterday who was going to do breakfast for a team, and she said, "Well, maybe we'll scramble eggs." I'm like, "Have you bought eggs lately for a bunch of high school boys? I'm not sure you want to pay for all the eggs that a whole team of high
Probably
school
order
boys
Perkins for that
would
price.
would take." Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of restaurants, Denny has joined Waffle House. I think that happened last week.
Yep.
Introducing surcharges for any meal that includes eggs. Boy, there's a lot of them. Eggs are in a lot of stuff. Not just your scrambled or fried eggs, but they're in, baking products. They're probably in all those giant muffins that,
French toast.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. So if the meal that you order includes eggs, there will be a surcharge. Now, there is a difference between surcharge and raising the price. Typically, when you raise the price, it stays, it's there for good. But a surcharge is looked at as,
Something that can go away.
yeah, it's temporary.
Yeah. You hope.
Well, you hope, but you kind of can't blame these places,
No, I mean, they've
when
got to
they're
make a business.
right, exactly. So anyway, Denny says prices will temporarily vary from location to location. So some of their locations are adding the surcharge, some are not. So you'll see some differences, they say, across their stores. They insist that they are working with vendors to mitigate the impact on customers and keep it, as little an increase, if any, at all. So that's good. Just when we think that people are, not hiring anymore, and there aren't jobs to be had, well, Apple, their plans will increase $500 billion in the United States. And here's the reason why. They are going to move manufacturing from Mexico to the United States to avoid those tariffs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so CEO Tim Cook has pledged that move, moving manufacturing from Mexico to the United States. And they are aiming to hire 20,000 people and build a server factory in Texas.
Oh, wow.
So here, bringing stuff back to the United States.
All those federal workers have a
I
place to go.
exactly. I didn't see Tim Cook being the guy to bring stuff
No.
back to the United States, but maybe. Let's see. Oh, you mentioned the federal employees that
Yep.
are potentially going to lose their jobs. So here's what happened if you didn't see the news this morning. So Elon Musk had told all the federal employees that they needed to write 5 of the things that they had accomplished that week. Now, or face termination if you didn't do it. This was via email, came to all the federal employees. Well, some of them thought, wait a second, is this really from Elon Musk? Is this a hoax? Should we do it? Now, keep in mind that a lot of these federal employees have sensitive materials within their grasp. Um, so is that a smart thing to do? And then they thought, gosh, should we do this? And then some of their higher ups said, ignore the email. And some had chosen to do that anyway. So it was supposed to be midnight last night. But now Elon Musk has said, wait a second, you guys, I really meant that. It's for real. I'm going to give you another day. So midnight tonight. And then there will be termination. What do you
Oh,
think?
wow.
I know.
I mean, you'd almost think in a normal corporate structure, the top would go down to the, department heads or, heads of said government entities and then go down from there. But you very rarely ever hear of the person who's quote unquote at the top saying, I need everything from everyone.
Right. And I mean, what do you think about how some of these management kind of people in these government
Oh, they're not
positions,
happy.
they're not happy, but is it up to them to tell their employees, don't do it? I don't know. What would you do if you were a federal employee
Oh,
and you got that
it
email?
would be hugely dependent on what my job was. I mean, if I had a sensitive job, it'd be like, hey, I really can't get into that. I can't divulge it.
Well, or you could pick 5 things that don't use sensitive information.
I made coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
I
really,
sharpened
I
my
don't know what
pencil.
he expects.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that I mean, how in the world? Think of how many federal employees there are. Is
Yeah.
Elon Musk going to sit down and read all those emails and say, wow, this guy did a good job?
Well,
Whoa, that's a good job.
Ted over in accounting didn't do anything last week. Let's have him read them.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
Who's going to read all
Well,
those? It seems so ridiculous to me.
It could be the brown M&M theory. I'm trying to remember what rock group it was, but they always said no brown or blue or green, or there was some kind of M&M that they didn't want in there.
Okay,
And so
I think it might have been green.
It was a green M&M,
I think so.
but it was one of those things where they added it to the rider just to see if they read the rider.
Oh,
So what they do is they'd look at the M&M bowl. If there's none of the whatever color M&Ms there were, okay, most likely everything else is correct. However, if there were green M&Ms, odds are they didn't read the rider, and a lot of things are probably screwed up. We better look at it.
okay. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it seems to me that, I mean, here we are talking about a guy who's trying to reduce ridiculous spending. And I don't know, what's he going to do with all those emails? Is he going to have to pay somebody, some group of people to read those
Yeah.
emails? That sounds like a waste of spending to me.
It is.
I don't understand his thinking behind that at all. It seems like a power play, and it seems ridiculous. And I don't know. Maybe I don't know everything I'm supposed to know, but that seems ridiculous to me. It seems like a waste of everyone's time.
It's one of those things I think it really needed to be thought out. But I've heard that he does that though. He'll ask his employees, "Hey, what were the 5 things you did yet last week?" So
Okay, if I work for Elon Musk, I'm going to answer that email.
yes, well, because you work for Elon Musk.
Right. But now I'm a federal employee, and the guy that is above me is saying, don't do it. What do I do?
That is a tough one. My boss says not to do it. So yeah,
But then, I mean, and then you're terminated. I don't understand the whole thing. It seems like a complete waste of time to me, but maybe someone can describe to me what he hopes to achieve by this ridiculousness. I don't know. And I think he's making himself look as ridiculous as the people who are coming up against him say that he is.
yeah.
It just doesn't seem like a good thing. I don't know. Maybe he's going to glean something fabulous over all this. Doesn't seem like a money-saving feature to me. But anyway. Okay, we're going to tell you about Lester Holt from NBC Nightly News.
Yes.
He's going to call or quit. Well, on the show. You won't see him on that show anymore. We'll tell you where he's going. We're going to talk about, we've got all kinds of cool things. A bride's sister-in-law ruins her wedding cake.
Oh, no.
All that and some trivia questions coming up on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the...
Hey there, local farmers. Tired of the hassle of processing and butchering your livestock? They've got you covered at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, your trusted partner in meat processing. From custom cuts to expert butchering, they handle it all with care and precision. Whether it's beef, pork, or lamb, they deliver a quality you can count on. Serving Fergus Falls and the Lakes area, they're proud to support local farmers just like you. Call them today at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, where quality meets tradition.
Tired of working with digital marketing agencies 1,000 miles away who don't get your community? At Leighton Engage, we keep it local. Real strategists, real people, right here. With a deep understanding of your community, we create campaigns that truly resonate. We pair you with a dedicated local strategist who knows your market and audience inside and out. Tailored solutions, real results, marketing that works.
Leighton Engage. Find your focus.
I'm Derek Sidian with KBRFradio.com News. Join me live every Friday on KBRFradio.com or the Fergus Now app for the weekly news recap, where I recap this week's hottest local news and you catch up on what you might have missed. The live stream starts at 12:30 and will be available to watch after the stream ends. The KBRFradio.com weekly news recap is brought to you by Fergus Falls Monument, online at foreverstonememorial.com, memorials that matter.
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure, sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guide to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock, and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
KBRFradio.com is your online home for News Talk 1250 KBRF. You'll find the latest in local and national news, plus sports, and you can podcast or stream live. That's at KBRFradio.com.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets still lower here, 1 to 3 in the soybeans. We're 3 to 4 lower in the corn. Wheat complex, 6 to 10 lower here. Ever Ag analyst Brett O'Connell says a lack of fresh bullish news allowing these grains to drift lower.
We're running out of bullish news right now. We've got Trump announcing that there will be 25% tariffs implemented on Canadian and Mexican goods. That's obviously putting a little pressure on the market. We are starting to see both planting of the safrinha corn crop and the harvest of the soybean crop in Brazil make leaps and bounds over where they were. We've seen better weather move into Argentina. They needed to see some moisture that started to show up on the radar. And so we just have a lot of pressure on a market that really was starting to get weary.
And the cattle market remaining strong.
There still seems to be a ton of fundamental strength that underlies that market. And anytime we get those pullbacks, it seems like this thing just finds renewed strength to go back and test those old highs. So we're back positive today on both fats and feeders today. And would suspect that, until we see something change in that environment, and it probably has to come from something outside of the fundamental storyline, which, theoretically supports high cattle prices for a number of years yet, before this really, kind of crashes and corrects in a big way.
Cash cattle market quiet this morning as well. Early asking prices starting out around 200 plus live. Nothing established in the dress market. Bids are quiet as well. Cutouts expected to be higher. You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Here's the latest from CHS Ag Services. CHS Ag Services Oakley, Minnesota location sales agronomist Matt Connickson is our guest. And Matt, you're going to give us the latest on Acuron GT.
It's a great corn herbicide chemical that provides 4 different chemicals across 3 different modes of action, giving farmers a great option to kill hard to control weeds such as water hemp and ragweed, along with a lot of others. It's also going to be a very easy use for the farmer because it's just one product that you can maybe also mix with atrazine to provide even better control.
CHS Ag Services Oakley, Minnesota sales agronomist Matt Connickson talking about Acuron GT. Contact your local CHS Ag agronomist with any questions you may have on Acuron GT. From custom fertility to crop protection solutions, they're there to help your growth and help you build the business you want. CHS Ag Services, providing solutions for your success.
Don't miss the dry bean scene every Friday at 12:35 on the Red River Farm Network. Specialty crop markets are special and require more digging than corn, soybeans, and wheat. We do that digging by talking with numerous crop scouts, growers, and processors in the North Harvest region or wherever beans that affect local markets are grown. So follow the dry bean scene every Friday at 12:35 on this Red River Farm Network station. The dry bean scene, brought to you by the North Harvest Bean Growers Association.
Commodity Classic is the annual gathering of the corn, soybean, wheat, sorghum, and ag equipment business. This is Red River Farm Network farm broadcaster Don Wick. Join me and Tyler Donaldson as we report from Denver and Commodity Classic. Whether it's farm policy or the latest innovations for agriculture, we'll have the story on air and online. Our coverage from Commodity Classic, sponsored by the Minnesota Soybean Growers Association, Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotion Council, and Ag Country Farm Credit Services.
May wheat, Minneapolis down 6 1/4 cents, 629.5. Chicago May wheat's down 10 at 583, and Kansas City May wheat down 7.5 at 602. May corn down 3.5, 493 1/4. December corn down 3 at 467 3/4. May soybeans down 3/4 of a penny, 10.47. November soybeans down 2 3/4, 10.49. March canolas down 4.40 a metric ton. April live cattle 60 cents higher, 195.70. June's up 65. April feeder cattle $1.57 higher, 273.60. May is $1.42 higher, 271.77. April lean hogs are down 82 cents at 86.57. May down 85. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Whether you're doing dishes, tackling laundry duty, or getting those little humans clean, with an electric water heater, you're always saving money because electric water heaters are super efficient. And with rebates, bill credits, or low off-peak rates, you save even more. Otter Tail Power Company is here to help. Visit otpco.com/water heating.
Winter weather can change quickly and can be hazardous. Listen to News Talk 1250 KBRF for the latest weather-related postponements and cancellations. Brought to you by Buyer Towing and Transport, Northwest Tire, and Ugsted Plumbing and Heating. Schools, businesses, churches, and events. You can find postponements and cancellations on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app. Weather-related announcements brought to you by Ugsted Plumbing and Heating, Northwest Tire, and Buyer Towing and Transport.
Tired of working with digital marketing agencies 1,000 miles away who don't get your community? At Leighton Engage, we keep it local. Real strategists, real people, right here. With a deep understanding of your community, we create campaigns that truly resonate. We pair you with a dedicated local strategist who knows your market and audience inside and out. Tailored solutions, real results, marketing that works.
Leighton Engage. Find your focus.
News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. A forecast for today, topping out around 41. Looks like we do have a chance of seeing a little bit of rain today and into tonight. 29 for our low tonight, 40 tomorrow's high, 40 Thursday, 41 Friday, cooling off a bit on Saturday. That cooling off is still at 27. Then 42 Sunday, 47 on Monday. Right now, Fergus Falls sitting in at 33. This is News Talk 1250 KBRF and Morning Talk brought to you this morning and every morning by our friends over at Pioneer Care and at Fergus Falls Monument.
Hey, I just read something funny. And it says this: one thing no one mentions about being an adult is how much time you debate yourself over keeping a cardboard box because it's really a good box.
It's a good box.
Oh my goodness, how many times? Have you done that?
I've done it a couple times. But
I have.
I wondered, okay, can we use that for storage? Can we use that for the cats? What do we need to do with this?
Well, okay, here's the one time. I do it all year long. I think, should I keep that? Should I not? And unless I know that I have something to put in it, like it would be helpful, I break it up and I put it in the recycling bin.
Yeah.
But at Christmas time, starting in, October, November, maybe.
Do you need it for a present box?
Do you need it for a present? This would be a great present box. And I stack them up in the garage.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then when it's time to wrap something, I think I've got a box for that. So there is a method to our madness, but it is hard sometimes. You get something shipped to you and it's in this great, serious box, and you think this could be helpful down the road, but you don't know for what. So you keep it. And then what? You either fill it with junk you don't need,
yep,
or it just sits around and gathers dust in the garage.
My wife is very much in the get rid of that box.
Me too. I tend to cut the tape on it, break it up, break it down, and get it in my recycling before I think I'm going to keep that, because I don't want to keep stuff like that. And I certainly don't want a box to store any more stuff in. So resist the temptation, people.
Resist the temptation. The resistance is strong.
I know. It's hard sometimes. Okay, told you that Lester Holt, he's going to exit the nightly news.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for about a decade.
Yep. He does a good job.
He does a good job, I think. He's been their anchor, and he is going to step away from the desk on NBC Nightly News in the early summer. He's going to focus instead on full-time work with Dateline NBC. Now, I don't know. I'm reading between the lines. Is that a demotion or
I think he
a
wants.
promotion, or he wants to get away from the nightly
I
stuff?
think he wants to get away from the mess that is the
Probably.
nightly news.
After 10 years, 17 if you include my years on the weekends, the time has come for me to step away from my role as anchor of the nightly news. It's truly been the honor of a lifetime to work with each of the people, each of you, he said. He was directing it toward his co-hosts and staff, keeping journalism as our true north and our viewers at the center of everything we do. He said that in a memo to staffers. His departure is part of a wave of changes in the industry and within the company, including Chuck Todd, Joy Reid, and Andrea Mitchell from MSNBC and NBC News. I understand. Well, Andrea Mitchell,
she's old.
She is old. She's good. I mean, she's been doing this for a long time, and she's traditionally covered either politics and or overseas kinds of things. I thought she was just kind of stepping away just because she's kind of retiring. But maybe she's making moves to these other shows too. So she's basically doing kind of cameos rather than full-time.
Yeah, part-time work.
Yeah. So Chuck Todd is, I don't think Chuck Todd stepped away easily.
No, I think he
He used
was
to be the
kind
Meet
of
the
kicked
Press guy.
off to the side.
I think so too. And now he has um, a lot less viewership just because of the things that he's involved in now. But I think he did kind of get kicked to the curb. And then, oh, what's her name that's on there now took over, and she's a rabid liberal.
Yeah.
And she goes, so every week on Meet the Press, she has somebody from the Republican side, somebody from the Democratic side. But she's really nice and asks lots of nice lobbing questions
You
to
can
the
definitely
Democrats.
tell what side she
And
votes for.
she just goes after the Republicans. And even if they answer something and she doesn't like the way they answer, she'll say, well, that's not really true, but, and then she'll go on to something else. So I can't even think of her name, but she's something. Anyway, so they're moving some people around. And if you like Lester Holt, well, watch the 6 and 10 o'clock news, or 10, I don't know which one he does. 6 o'clock, I think.
I think, yeah.
Or 5:30 or whatever his slot is. Anyway, that will be coming to an end this coming summer. If you love Roberta Flack, I always liked her music. She was really good. As I was growing up, I remember listening to Roberta Flack. Anyway, she passed away. She was 88. She had cardiac arrest, and she also had an ALS diagnosis in 2022. I didn't know that. Anyway, it made it impossible for her to sing and not easy for her to speak. So yeah, wish her family all the best. But anyway, passed away at the age of 88. So she had some great music. Let's see. How about this one? Here's a nice gal that you might want to meet online. She's from Las Vegas, and her name is Aurora Phelps. She has been accused of luring older men to Mexico, then drugging them and taking their financial information.
Well, that's not good.
Nice girl. Prosecutors claim that Phelps seduced men in person or online to gain access to their bank and retirement accounts. Oh boy. So these lonely older men are giving up their financial information? Oh boy. Anyway, currently she is linked to 2 deaths and 1 disappearance. So this gets worse than just stealing their information.
This is kind of wow.
On Friday, the FBI asked for other potential victims to come forward and said their identities would remain anonymous. If convicted on all counts, Phelps faces life in prison, as she should. Are you one of the Americans, one of 71%, who support cell phone limitation in school?
I do. I support it.
I do too. 54% want phones banned in elementary schools. I don't know. I think my elementary kid maybe doesn't need a phone. That's maybe I'm old school, but I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. I remember my daughter getting her first cell phone when she was a junior in high school. And even then, people were like, oh, you're giving her a cell phone? And it was kind of like, not everybody had them. as a junior. Well, now
Everybody's got
there's
them.
elementary kids who have them and shouldn't, I don't think. Anyway, um, 47% of those who support bans are concerned about cyberbullying. I think that's the most common
Mm-hmm.
worry. 45% are worried about kids using AI to cheat. Kids are pretty smart.
Kids
They know
are.
how to do it.
Yep.
However, over half the support limitations over a total ban. The most popular solution allows phone access during lunch breaks and free periods. I could get my arms around that.
Yeah.
Maybe not in elementary school, but um okay, so if you are going on vacation, you might want to just turn me down for just a little bit. Especially if you're going to Thailand, Japan, or Hawaii. Because a woman who traveled to all three of those places over the course of 3 weeks returned with an unwanted souvenir, a brain worm.
Ew.
I know. I told you. The parasite caused the 30-year-old to feel like her legs were burning when she returned home. A visit to the doctor discovered she had contracted rat lungworm. Yikes. Fortunately, she's now receiving treatment, should be able to leave the hospital in a week. Looking how to avoid something like that? Well, the CDC recommends not eating raw or undercooked snails, slugs, frogs, shrimp, or prawns. I'm good.
Yeah,
I won't eat any of those things.
I'm pretty much good as well.
Yeah. So anyway, stay away from all that
I won't
gross.
eat cooked. Then
No, me neither.
list that. Yeah.
Okay, so just don't eat any of that stuff, okay? All right. Well, we fixed that. That was easy. Okay, kids born in 2016 are going to hate their baby photos. So do you
Why?
have a kid or grandkid who was born in 2016? The year of the Snapchat filter.
Oh.
Exposing their edited baby pictures, goofy things. Moms revealed pictures of babies with the dog ears and the tongue sticking out filter to their babies.
Yeah, Jen didn't really get into Snapchat until after that, so I think Adam is fine.
Somebody, one of my nieces or somebody loaded Snapchat on my phone for a short time. And what I found was I have a couple of nieces who live on their phones and they are sending all these snaps every day. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I thought my head would explode. So I got rid of it. I can't, so I never
I've never
reloaded
had it installed.
I think what happened is I changed phones. And when they made the swap, I said, don't reintroduce Snapchat. I can't stand all those videos coming my way. You know how I love videos.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so there are the Hello Kitty bow was another one. Mrs. Doubtfire hair. I don't remember that.
No.
It says we wore that flower crown out. You know, the crown of flowers that would go on the baby. And anyway, they're saying that any kid born in 2016 is going to hate looking back at their baby.
Well, I mean, it was part of their life.
I guess.
Blame the parents.
Well, for sure. I don't know who else we'd blame there. Okay, here's the story about the wedding cake I told you I'd tell you about. A woman asked advice column Dear Snarky what she should do after sister-in-law destroyed her wedding cake. Oh my. My husband's 27-year-old sister decided it would be funny to take her hands and grab a hunk of our wedding cake.
Why?
Not funny. Like she decimated a side of one of the tiers with her hands, the bride said. Since the cake was destroyed during the cocktail hour, the wedding planner struggled to hide the hole during the rest of the reception. You need to have boundaries right now, early in your marriage. This is what the advice columnist said. Like, wow, make some boundaries with this sister-in-law of yours. She told the bride to demand her husband's family pay her back. I don't think it's ever too early in a marriage to let your in-laws and your extended family know, this is me. I've got some rules. These are my boundaries.
Well, yeah. I mean, you partly ruined the wedding.
You know what I would do in that situation if I'm the bride? I would tell my new husband, say, put a leash on your sister.
Yep.
And take care of this.
Yeah, she's got to act like an
adult. This can never happen again. I kind of think it's up to him.
Did they say how old the sister was?
27.
Yeah, that's
Old enough to know better.
way old enough to
Yeah.
know better.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it's one thing if it was a 7-year-old kid, but 27,
27.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be mad at her, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Um,
I think Jen would have punched them if somebody did that to our cake.
I know it. I always tell the cake story. This is one of my favorite stories. How you're supposed to save the top of the cake and eat it on your first anniversary.
Yep.
Which is a really ridiculous tradition, but whatever. So I had the top to our wedding cake in the freezer. And John is famous for like, I gotta clean out the freezer. So he goes in there and we gotta start eating some stuff in this freezer. We gotta get, use some of this stuff. So he sees this cake and it's, it's a cake. Imagine the top of a
Yeah,
cake.
about 8 inches,
It's
yeah.
like a little cake that you could share with, 8 or 10 people. So he thinks, I'm going to get rid of this cake, make some room in the freezer, takes the top of our wedding cake to work to share with his
Oh.
coworkers. When he told me what he had done, I wasn't mad at all. I burst out laughing. I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
Because cake 1 year after, freezer or no, is not good cake. I'm
No.
just telling you. And anyway, so we have laughed about that. I can't tell you how many times. And then he got this cake to work. Well, it was clearly a wedding cake. And all of his colleagues at work are like, ooh, you're going to be so in trouble. We should not be eating this cake. But I think they did.
We should be eating it, but man, this 6-month-old cake is awesome.
I can't even remember what happened. But the fact that he took the cake and I never saw it again and I didn't care, it's made me laugh so many times in the last 30 whatever years we've been married. So I still think it's pretty funny.
That
So
is.
anyway. All right. Should we get on to how about some trivia?
Always love the trivia.
Feel like trivia? Okay, here we go. How many I did not know. I'm going to save this one for the last. What fruit is packed with the most calories?
What fruit is packed with the most calories? I am going
I would
to
have even known this one, believe it or not.
Oh, I don't. Strawberry?
Yeah, I was going to say fruit, avocado.
Oh.
They're super high in fat.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think of
Yeah.
avocado as a
Okay,
fruit.
how about this one? Never saw this one coming. Next time you lick a U.S. postal stamp,
Okay.
do you know how many calories you are getting?
I'm going to say 1.
1/10 of a calorie.
A 1/10 of
I didn't know we had to worry about calories with a stamp.
I
Does
didn't-
anyone lick stamps anymore?
I was going to say, I didn't think they licked stamps anymore.
No, I don't think so either. I think they're all the peel off now, aren't they?
Pretty much, because
Okay,
nobody
well,
wants to
there.
lick it.
I saved 1/10 of a calorie today.
There you go.
There you go. Now I feel good. All right. Want to know any? Here's some new stuff coming out. Kellogg's is releasing cereal and waffled flavored ice creams coming to the freezer aisle.
Okay.
Cereal varieties include Fruit Loops. Don't we already have Fruit Loops?
Yeah, Fruit Loops is Blue Moon.
Yeah, exactly. Corn Pops, Frosted Flakes, Apple Jacks, Honey Smacks, Rice Krispie Treats. And for Eggo fans, waffle flavors include blueberry, buttery maple, and chocolatey chop. Buttery
Okay.
maple sounds like the only good one in all of that to me.
Well, I mean, Fruit Loops, because I love my Blue Moon.
Yeah, Blue Moon ice cream is basically Fruit Loops,
Yeah,
right?
basically tastes like Fruit Loops.
Some customers have already spotted the new ice creams at big stores, Kroger and Albertsons, of course, both of which we don't have. And let's see what else is out there. Popeyes. Have you we've talked about this
I like
before. Eaten
Popeyes.
at Popeyes?
Yeah, I like
I've
Popeyes.
only eaten there one time. And of course I liked it because it's deep fried and horrible for you. And so then I love it.
I have to laugh. I love Popeyes. I've only had one bad experience at Popeyes, and that was when I had Jen and the boys with me on their first experience at Popeyes, so they hate Popeyes now because it was the weekend or the week that they introduced their legendary chicken sandwich. And so, A, you had to wait forever.
Okay.
B, everything else was bad. And so it was just like an all-around miserable experience, and now they
Okay.
all refuse to go back.
So
and
now,
I'm like,
okay, well,
I'm like, it gets better.
oh yeah, I know. Well, anyway, they have they're offering a $4 chicken sandwich deal.
Nice.
Yeah, whether you drive through or order on the app or website. Anyway, I can't even remember what I had, but it was deep fried, beautiful, and you know me, I love that deep
The
fried
chicken
stuff that's so
the
terrible
chicken
for you.
sandwich is good. I kind of like the chicken strips, but then I also
I
make
think I
sure.
maybe had like popcorn chicken or something.
Yeah, I mean their biscuits are really good.
I love
Their
the
red beans and
biscuits
rice
too.
are good.
Plus, it was like an $8 meal, and it was this big box.
Oh yeah, you get your
It
money's
was,
worth at
oh my
Popeyes.
goodness, holy grease for sure. My goodness. And so, of course, I love all that kind of stuff. Why is it that we like the stuff that is the worst for us?
Because if it was tasted bad and was bad for you, you wouldn't eat it.
I guess. But, and then it comes in this big giant box. And it made me think too while I was reading that story, order on the website or on the app. Do you order fast food on an app? I just don't do that.
I do if I have. Derek does apparently.
Derek
So,
does.
let's get Derek in here. Derek is
Okay.
trying to find his microphone and trying
Okay.
to turn on his stuff. Derek, you get your
Yeah,
stuff.
there he is.
Oh,
I hear his chair.
he's moving around. There we go.
Yeah, I will often actually order my food on the app. Actually, I was just doing that at KFC in Moorhead last night. It's honestly, I just think it's a lot more convenient for me because I don't have to worry about waiting in line or like holding up a line either. If say I'm always picking something different from restaurants. So if I'm just sitting there like trying to figure it out, it's way better to just do it where I'm at, figure it out, order it, and then drive to where it's at, and it's pretty much done.
Okay, so then do you drive through or do you have to go inside and get it?
It depends on the place. KFC,
suppose.
I have to walk in, which I don't really like. But there are places where you could do drive-through, or you could just park your car in a specific spot, and they'll bring it out to you, like McDonald's does.
About the only time I ever do it is if I'm ordering a bunch of sub sandwiches, like for my grandkids, and
Yeah.
like we're going off to a basketball game or something, and I'm ordering 6 sandwiches, and everybody wants something different. Then I will go online and I will order them, and you get to pick out the stuff. And often online, you might buy one get one half price or something like
Yep.
that. That's about
Yep.
the only time. But I don't think they're super user friendly.
I
Yeah.
use the one over at Jersey Mike's just because it's over by us, and I can place my order, get stuff ready, and then drive up to their little drive window, and
So
they'll
you
just hand
can-
it to me.
Okay,
I will say, Mary, I definitely have issues with those apps often, but I still at least attempt to use them first just
Okay.
because it's
Does it
a little
make you
convenient.
crazy though when you drive up and they say, "Will you be using the app?" Blah 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 blah. I'm
Yes.
like, no. Okay, when
It's
you
like-
recognize my car, my answer will always be no. Stop.
They won't recognize your car. Your
know.
car looks like just like
I
every other
know.
one.
I'm just teasing. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for the input, young one. We like to get him in on all this stuff that
Get the younger generation.
I know we've got like 3 major different
Yeah,
generations.
because
between
it's
the
funny
3
though.
of us.
I'm like right in the middle because you're about 20 years or 20 years older than
Older,
me,
yeah.
and Derek is 20 years younger than
Yep,
me. So
yep.
it goes 20, 20,
So,
20.
right. So we've got a good perspective across lots
Yeah.
of years, right? Okay. Well, I guess that's going to wrap things up. That's,
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
all the smart I have for you today.
You
So,
can not brain anymore today.
yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. Our show today and every day is brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument.